Fake love crackdown, green card couples, watch out. So, I am your immigration attorney, Sekou Clark, and as you know, so many changes with immigration. It may be disputable that this is the #1 transition or procedure that immigrants are able to gain their green card. It is through love. Why? Because it's the most natural, it's the most organic way. The US wants to promote and foster healthy relationships, right? DHS, USCIS, they have decided that they will be cracking down on all marriage-based petitions. No, they're not changing the laws, right? But they're going to scrutinize this process significantly more. How do they scrutinize it? They use the bona fide marriage standard. So, gone are the days when you can just send in, a lease, a bank account, some photos, and you're good. No, they're looking at all types of different things to scrutinize your case and say that this is not a bona fide marriage. The #1 thing that they look at, does this couple cohabit? Do they live together? No, you cannot have the excuse that I'm working here or I go to school here. No, they want to see that you live together and you have been living together. But guess what, people? You cannot just submit a lease with both people's names on it and think that that will get the job done. Nope. They are going the extra step. I mean, they always have been doing this, where if there's any type of doubt, they send out the fraud unit to actually go to the listed address and see if you are there. They go to the listed address and they actually interview people. They're taking it a step further. They're actually going to the property manager and asking to see the lease and asking to see any type of documentation that can prove that these two people live there. And guess what? If they don't find you at the house, they're going to go to your place of employment. So that's the first thing that they're looking at. They're examining also age gaps, right? If it's a massive age gap, that won't be the only thing that will bring your file under scrutiny. No, it's if you have weak evidence and then there's a massive age gap, guess what? They're going to look further into that case. They're going to actually look at the US citizen petitioner, right? And they're going to look into their lives. They're going to look at DMV records. They're going to look at work history to really try to come up or try to make a determination that this person is really married to this person for love. How do they make that determination? They are surgeons. They're actually in their hearts and they can actually figure out that these people are in love or not. I don't know. But they look at age gaps, and then if there's an age gap with also a cultural difference and a language barrier, yes, they use that as well. So it's really the weight of the evidence, right? You can have a huge age gap, right? You can have a cultural difference, but you have extremely strong evidence in terms of commingling your finances, properties owned together, all that. But if you have weak evidence on this side and you have the age gap, you have cultural differences and a language barrier, and you're doing a Google Translate and all that type of stuff, you already know what time it is. All right. So those are some of the things that they will be looking at and bringing it under additional scrutiny. Another way that they scrutinize their file is the social media presence. The social media footprint is huge. They want to see the couples together, right? They want to see if you're traveling, but they're also going to see if the couples are not in photos together. They are going to check that Facebook status to see if it shows single. And guess what? If you have your profile private, trust me, they will find a way through another friend. I know in your friend group, there's one person that has their profile public and they're always the weak link. And guess what? USCIS will find that weak link, right? So again, a lot of scrutiny will find immigration marriages. So the next thing that they do, and it's a tool that they have always used, is called the Stokes interview, which is where once you go to your marriage-based interview, they separate you. And once there are major discrepancies, then they will make a determination that this marriage is not real. They're doing more Stokes interviews, especially if your file is sent in and it has weak evidence. Best believe once you go to that interview, they'll be watching you on the cameras from when you're outside in the waiting area to when you come in, and they will find if the husband or the wife is the weaker link. And guess what? They try to have the US citizen petitioner withdraw their I-130. They try to threaten them and say, hey, they can get arrested. We know it's not a real marriage, and try to get them to admit that it is not a real marriage, or you're just trying to help out a friend, and they try to be nice about it. So these are the things that they have been doing for years, but they're taking additional steps. And they also have additional tools that they can use now, such as the IRS, right? ICE and USCIS, they are now sharing information with IRS. So they're able to see your employment history. They're able to see your address history, right? And they can make a determination from your addresses if you really lived with that person. And the easiest one is if you have your spouse filing single and you're filing married, filing separately. That is going to be a huge red flag, but they are diving down into these issues right now. But one of the biggest empowerment of USCIS is that before you even get to the interview, they can deny that case right away because the information is too weak and you cannot prove that you're in a bona fide marriage. So they will definitely be scrutinizing the love wheel of getting married to a United States citizen and keeping families together. So what I encourage everyone is, once you decide to go down this route of getting married, right, making that, it's already a tough commitment, right? But to have the immigration piece involved, make sure it's a decision that you make together, both willingly, and you're able to do the actual work to provide the necessary bona fide evidence. And it's not the same amount of evidence. It blows my mind when people are sending in just 10 pages for a marriage-based petition. No, you have to submit all the right evidence, and do not make misrepresentations. They have access to everything, DMV records, and that one friend that doesn't like you, they have access to that person as well. So make sure you prepare, you take the time. If somebody is doing it for you, make sure you have a copy of what is being sent out. And last but not least, make sure you prepare extensively for that interview. How are you going into an interview and you don't know your spouse's middle name or their birth date, or how you got proposed to, or who bought the ring? You have to know these things. Come on.